A reading from Isaiah chapter 25. On this mountain, the Lord of hosts will spread a rich feast for all peoples, the best food, the finest wine. Here God will destroy the shroud of death that covers every nation, will swallow up death forever. God will wipe away every tear and take away the disgrace of God's people from the whole earth. And it will be said on that day, "This is our God, the one we waited for. Let us rejoice in the salvation God brings." In its purest form, folk music, as Mindy said, belongs to the people. That's sort of the whole point. Here's how it might work in some traditions. A song gets sung on a front porch in Mississippi, maybe has a nice beat that can be sung to give people strength as they work or as they march. And then maybe somebody who hears it there takes it to a picket line in Alabama. And somebody who hears it there sings it at a revival or at a folk festival. And then decades later, that same song is sung in worship in Colorado Springs. A song like our opening hymn, "I'm Gonna Eat at the Welcome Table," eventually gets published in a hymnal, and nobody remembers who wrote the first verse or who kept adding verses to it. The song has been handed around so many tables that it stopped being anyone's private property and became something that lots of people sing together in many, countless variations. That's the trajectory of a lot of African American spirituals that are sung today. And that's why when you look at our hymnal, in any hymnal, these songs don't have the composer's name written down. It just says African American spiritual or traditional. These are generations of people who needed to survive. They were sung by people who were enslaved, who were told that their names didn't matter anyway, who were told that their lives didn't matter, who were not allowed to read or write, and who were absolutely forbidden from telling the truth about their suffering out loud. So they sang it instead. They wrapped up grief in a melody and as a disguise to keep their hope alive. So "I'm Gonna Eat at the Welcome Table," it's not just a nice tune about a potluck. It's a promise that is made by people who were denied a seat at the table, who were told that there was no table for them at all, at least not in this life. And when we sing it now, we are generations removed from the fields where it was born. So we're not just borrowing this nice melody, we're carrying the meaning forward, what it meant to its original singers. We're affirming that same promise that there is a table and that everybody is invited. Whenever we sing spirituals from African American tradition, our practice is to invite donations to support Black musicians in our community and to enable our local library to be stocked with books by African American authors. So when the offering plate comes around today, you're invited to designate a gift toward the Spirituals Reparation Fund. And 100% of what you designate to that cause goes to the Shivers Fund, Peggy and Clarence Shivers. Of course, not every folk song comes to us anonymously. Some of those songs have a name attached, a real person who sat down with a guitar and wrote a song on purpose. We're singing some of those songs today too, songs by Pete Seeger, Johnny Cash. These songs might seem like a different category altogether. Maybe they don't believe in the same conversation as a spiritual whose author got erased by slavery. In a way, there is some similarity in how all of these songs came together. Pete Seeger, he didn't only write songs, he dug up songs and he passed them along. He believed that a song wasn't worth much if only one person sang it. And so a song like "We Shall Overcome" was written by many people in many places. Pete Seeger is associated with it because he heard it sung at a picket line, and then he played it when Martin Luther King spoke. That evening, Dr. King found himself humming the tune in the car, the tune that he'd heard Pete sing, and he said to his friends, "You know, there's something about that song that just haunts you." Eventually, of course, "We Shall Overcome" became an anthem in the civil rights movement. And along the way, somewhere it stopped being Pete Seeger's song, and it's come to belong to everyone. Johnny Cash spent a career singing about people that his culture had mostly decided didn't matter. He sang about prisoners and addicts, poor people, forgotten people. And often, Johnny sang about it in first person, like he was one of them. Because in his own way, he was. And what these artists have done is to take pain of injustice or exclusion or struggle or grief, and they express it in a song. They set it to a tune. And something remarkable happens when pain becomes a song. I mean, the pain is still there. Singing spirituals doesn't erase the devastation of slavery. Workplace injustice doesn't just magically disappear when a song is sung on a picket line. But you know what? A song helps pain become shareable. One person can carry sorrow only so far, but a whole community can carry it much better. And the church is a part of that too. Churches are one of the few places where communities gather to sing. Biblical texts preserve our ancestors' struggles. And some of them are ancient psalms that were first sung by exiles longing for home. In our church, we sing spirituals born in the terror of slavery. We sing folk songs that were written on buses or in prison cells, at kitchen tables, or on picket lines. We sing songs that tell the truth. They remind us that someone else has walked this road before. And every time we lift our voices, we're practicing the kind of world that we hope to live in. A world with a big table that's open to all. A world where no one has to sing by themselves. A world where every voice matters. A world where stories of those who are pushed to the margins are not forgotten. A world where we learn from each other's struggles. The next song that we'll hear was written by Carrie Newcomer. Just a couple of years ago, Carrie stood right here and sang for us. Who was here to hear that? A lot of us. So unlike the spirituals that we talked about, we know exactly who wrote this next song. We've met the songwriter. We know when she wrote this song. Carrie Newcomer has always written songs that sort of invite other people to inhabit them if the experience fits. So this song is called Abide. One word that simply means to remain, to stay. It evokes Jesus' words according to John, "Abide in me as I abide in you." It's a beautiful song that I have returned to again and again when I have needed solace and connection. Now, after many decades of this tradition of a folk service, this is my fourth one to participate in. And I know now that we hold folk music as sort of a loose definition. Do all of the songs we sing on Folk Sunday qualify as folk music? Maybe not. But they all come from our people. These songs we sing today were brought forward by members of our congregation, and they remind us that none of us has to carry the weight alone. These songs themselves have become our companions on the journey, voices that keep us singing when our own voices grow tired. And so these songs are an offering, a source of strength and compassion and hope. May we receive them all with grateful hearts.